meeting of Tuesday, April 5th, 2022 at 1 p.m. I'm going to call this meeting to order. And once more, I know that I will be joined by all my colleagues and many planners throughout the county to be able to wish Dirk Vanderwerth happy birthday. And now I'm going to ask for any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none, any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none. Now I'm going to ask for the minutes of the March 22nd, 2022 meeting of County Council, and that not only be approved as presented, but Council adopt the recommendations of the Committee of the Whole as set out in the minutes of the March 22nd, 2022 meeting. Looking for a mover? Councillor Richards, seconded by Councillor Mayhew. All in favor? I can say that today because we're all together. And now moving on to the closed minutes of March 22nd, 2022 meeting of council. And I'm going to ask that they be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Vanderheyden, seconded by Councillor DeVitt. All in favor? So moved. Seeing no deputations, I'm moving on to inquiries or notice of motion. I believe Councillor Smith, do you have a notice of motion to bring forward?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Warden. So I've provided the notice of motion to our clerk, and the motion is that the county engineer prepare a draft addendum to the county crosswalk guidelines to include crosswalk art guidelines for council's consideration and approval at the May 10th, 2022 meeting of council that supports this strategic focus of cultivating community vitality to advance a diverse, healthy, and engaging communities across Middlesex County. So that will be on the April 26th meeting. And between now and then, I'll send an email to council with some more information. And I'll also speak to that at that time. And I'm hoping for a great discussion on that motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith, and we'll look forward to that discussion. And seeing no reports, moving on to new business to 8A, which is the 2022 borrowing bylaw. And this report, I believe, is from Cindy Howard. So whenever you're ready.
Thanks, and through the warden. Each year, council is required to pass a bylaw for the line of credit for the county, as with the Bank of Nova Scotia. The county only has to pay if we use the line of credit. The authorized amount is $2 million. This report also outlines the credit card limits currently in place. The county is authorized for an amount of $300,000, and we are within that limit. The finance department manages the credit card process. At this time, I'm asking council to approve the borrowing bylaw for 2022, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none, looking for a mover for the recommendation as Councillor Mayhew, seconded. Councillor Corneliuson, all in favor? So moved. Any councillors' comments? Seeing none, moving on to bylaws. So the first bylaw we have is number 7160, a bylaw to authorize borrowing of sums in 2022. Second one is 7161, a bylaw to authorize a collective agreement with QP Local 101.5. And third one is 7162, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the April 5th, 2022 meeting of County Council. So these bylaws are given their first and second reading. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? Okay. And now for the third and final reading, looking for a mover, Councillor Burkhart-Jessen, seconded by Councillor Richards. All in favor? Okay. And now we're going to move into the Committee of the Whole. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor DeVitt, seconded by Councillor Vanderheyden, and it's 1:05 p.m. moving in. So moved. Looking now at 11A, which is delegations, reports, and county officers. So 11A is the IT server and storage infrastructure replacement from Chris Bailey.
Thank you, Warden. Through you to council, the Middlesex County server and storage infrastructure is required to provide services to Middlesex County Administration, Middlesex County Library, Middlesex London Paramedic Service, Strathmere Lodge, and our supported business partners. The current infrastructure was initially purchased in 2015 and has surpassed its end of life date based on the Middlesex ITS hardware replacement plan. As part of that hardware replacement plan, the ITS department is also working to consolidate IT infrastructure across Middlesex County, and this replacement will help facilitate that change. The ITS department has designed a consolidation strategy in conjunction with our supported local municipalities. This strategy intends to leverage economies of scale to provide affordable IT infrastructure to Middlesex County and our supported sites. The principal focus is to replace local municipal IT infrastructure with hardware at the Middlesex County Data Center as that hardware at the local municipalities becomes end of life. This strategy helps Middlesex County recover costs related to our server and storage infrastructure purchases, and it also allows supported local municipalities to save on purchasing replacement hardware. It also helps to reinforce cybersecurity defenses as we're sharing those cybersecurity controls between multiple locations. To date, one local municipality has moved into the county data center and is leveraging our current infrastructure. This move allowed that municipality to save costs by not purchasing replacement infrastructure, lowered power usage requirements at their municipal office, and saved them costs by sharing backup storage. In 2022, Middlesex ITS is working with 3 additional local municipalities to bring their systems into the county data center. Middlesex ITS reviewed 5 different hardware vendors to determine the best suitable replacement infrastructure. This review ensured the chosen solution would meet the growing demands of Middlesex County and its business partners, while also accounting for future growth. Through this hardware vendor review, the ITS department determined that a hyper-converged infrastructure solution is the best fit for the county and aligns with the consolidation strategy that I outlined. Hyperconverged infrastructure is designed to be a scalable solution. It allows organizations to efficiently grow their infrastructure needs while saving money by only purchasing the required upgrades. From a financial perspective, the ITS department's PSAB capital asset replacement plan includes capital dollars budgeted each year and is designed to keep funds in reserve to offset expected large hardware replacement purchases, such as the IT server infrastructure. This purchase will be utilizing those funds approved by County Council during the budget process. With respect to the replacement of this system, the ITS department was able to leverage Kinetic GPO. This is a Canadian public sector cooperative purchasing solution, which provided a fair underlying procurement process and the ability for the county to attach to and provided us the best possible pricing. The total cost of the hardware is $131,205, excluding HST. The solution includes 5 years of manufacturer warranty and support and will enable Middlesex County to continue providing required services to all supported areas and allow for growth moving forward. Alignment with strategic focus is promoting service excellence. And the recommendation today is that the report be received as information relating to the purchase of the replacement ITS server and storage infrastructure. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Chris on his report? Counselor Vanderhayden?
Thank you, through the warden. Just so I'm clear on this report, we're talking about hardware, so that's where all the information goes into. But also in there, I see we're talking about a center. And I know we used to have some stuff over next door, but I'm not even sure anymore personally where that is. And then in there, it says that there's another municipality that's gone into our data center. So I'm just, can I get some clarity around what that actually means?
Yes, absolutely. Through the warden to the counselor, our data center is actually premised at 1035 Adelaide. When the new headquarters building was built, we put in the data center there and migrated equipment from our previous data center. In terms of bringing in the municipality, it's basically a piece of our server infrastructure completely segmented from Middlesex County for this other municipality, but it's in the same physical space. So what that does allow is, as I said, sharing resources, sharing security mechanisms, but in terms of a physical location, they are at the same physical location, which is 1035 Adelaide. Absolutely. We have a formula that accounts for everything from storage, power, the internet connection that comes into the data center, as well as a formula that outlines how much storage space is required to house that municipal infrastructure, as well as memory, CPU, a bunch of many technical things, but everything is accounted for and is billed back to the local municipality on an annual basis.
Council have any other questions? Seeing none, we do have a motion in front of us that the report be received as information. Looking for a mover, Councillor Rob, seconder, Councillor Elliott, all in favor? So moved. Moving on to the action items, 11B1, proposed plan of subdivision, municipality of Thames Center, file number 39T-TC2001, Vista Woods Estates Incorporated. Dirk, I believe this is yours.
Thank you, through the warden. So this is a roughly just slightly smaller than 20 hectare or 50 acre property in Dorchester. If you're familiar with Dorchester and Byron Ave, right across from the newer Shoppers Drug Mart. Development overall would create 41 lots for single detached dwellings, and then a number of blocks, one which would also be for low density residential to be developed with an adjacent plan of subdivision, and then 2 blocks for a medium density development of approximately 59 townhouses. And there's also a substantial block that will be deeded to the municipality. That's part of the mill pond, essentially almost half of the property. As I mentioned, the lands do have frontage and would have an entrance onto County Road 32, Dorchester Road. And a slight tangent here, but at the next meeting, we'll have a report before you about the province's proposed Bill 109, which deals with Planning Act timelines and some changes that they're making there. And I'll just highlight it now because this is a plan of subdivision. The application came in October of 2020. The public meeting was in November, and then there was some delay in dealing with this as the plan was amended, as some additional environmental work was done related to the mill pond. And as Thames Center Council considered this and some other subdivisions and sort of what the right form of housing would be in Dorchester. So I just highlight that it did take over a year to get here. And so that will, I would quite able to defend that timeline, but I think that will be something that we'll have to, council will have to think about in the future. We did undertake an agency circulation, and all matters, I believe, have been addressed to satisfy the Conservation Authority, the county engineer, and the municipality, and there are preliminary conditions drafted to satisfy those. So as the report indicates, I do recommend approval. I believe it's consistent with the provincial policy statement and conforms with the county's official plan and the Thames Center official plan. And then I did put in a little bit of commentary about sort of the density and mix of units are appropriate given the site and the context and the fact that about half of the property is a naturalized area. So the actual overall density is probably lower than you would expect in a subdivision, but that's just the context of that natural heritage feature. So I am recommending approval of it, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for our planner? No, seeing none, then we do have a recommendation written out. So looking for a mover, Councillor Vanderhayden, seconded by Councillor Elliott, all in favor? So moved. Now 11B2, which would be the 911 agreement. This is a report from Chris Trainey, and I believe Chris is on the screen.
I am here. Here we go. Everybody can hear me okay? Good afternoon. I apologize for not being in the council chambers today, but I am pleased to present the report on the 911 agreement. Get this pulled up for myself. So this is a part of the migration that we've talked about a little bit with the enhanced 911, which is what we have currently, to the next gen 911 or NG 911 in March 2025. So we're well ahead of the schedule here. And basically what NG 911 is it's the migration to a fully digital platform that will allow for dispatchers to be able to receive not just audio phone calls, but texts, photos, and videos, which hopefully will provide first responders with additional information before attending a site at the scene of an emergency with a little bit more information to be better prepared for what they're going to expect when they arrive on scene. So simply what we're going to do is sign this agreement, which will allow for the PSAB, which is Public Safety Answering Point, which is operated by the London Police in the case of Middlesex County, which we are required to sign this agreement so that they can move forward with the transition to Next Gen 911. It's a 10-year agreement with subsequent 5-year renewals. We're not anticipating additional costs with this agreement, and I'm recommending that the warden and clerk be authorized to sign the agreement. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Certainly something that I attended an OPP conference in 2019, and it was being presented there by Thomas Creek, and it's really nice to see this finally come forward. I think it'll really help the police to be able to receive quick information with pictures and whatever might be on that scene. So thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, we have a recommendation. Looking for a mover. Councillor Richard, seconded by Councillor Brennan. All in favor? So moved. Thank you, Chris. Moving now on to correspondence and information items. So go through the payables first. 11C1 is the general administration payables. 11C2, the economic development payables. 11C3, the ITS payables. 11C4, library payables. 11C5, MLPS payables. 11C6, planning payables. 11C7, roads payables. 11C8, social services payables. And 11C9, Strathmore Lodge payables. Council, any questions regarding any of these payables as presented? Seeing none, then I'm looking for someone to move that 11C1 to 11C9 be received for information. Mover, Councillor DeVete, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? Thank you. Now moving on to the next group, we have 11C10, which is an AMO policy update. 11C11 is notice of the passing development charges bylaw, municipality of Temp Center. 11C12, Strathmere Lodge census report for February 2022. 11C13 is AMO policy update. 11C14 AMO policy update. Seem to have a lot of updates. 11C15 is the 2022 annual repayment limit, and 11C16 minutes of the March 22nd, 2022 meeting of the Middlesex County Library Board. Council, any questions regarding those? Councillor Vanderheyden?
Thank you, through the warden. Since we've got Mr. Kerwin here, maybe you could give us an update on the lodge and how we're moving forward post sort of COVID. I know that you have a few issues again, but how things are going along at the lodge and how the staff are doing and the residents.
Yes, so through the warden to the councillor. We are actually currently in outbreak. So we're working with the health unit to resolve that. You may have heard that the province did drop its mandate as far as vaccination is concerned for both staff and visitors. At the moment, that mandate remains in place at the lodge despite that. However, it's certainly a subject that we are currently deliberating, and further decisions will be made after we resolve the outbreak, I guess it's fair to say.
I guess I just want to thank you and your staff for all the work that you've done over the last half years to keep our residents safe and keep staff safe. And I know that you've worked really hard on that, and to what, no matter what, look at, there are people that are in favor, people that want masks, there are people who don't want vaccines. So when you follow the health regulations, an excellent job.
Thank you. Any other questions for Brent? All right, so again, we have the recommendations in front of us. Looking for a mover. Councillor Burkhart Jessen, seconded by Councillor Elliott. All in favor? So moved. Any inquiries? No new business? Oh. No new business. Got a new clerk, and I just have to slow down a little bit more. He's a little slower than you. So moving on to the announcements, just 2 dates to note, keep it in your calendar. Being May 12th is save the date for the Middlesex Day, which will be held at the Thorndale, the brand new Thorndale Community Center. We're glad to see everybody. And then the second being the golf tournament, June 23rd, 2022. So now in front of me, I'm going to ask that the committee of the whole rise at 1:21 PM, looking for a mover. Counselor Elliott, seconded by Counselor Smith, all in favor? So moved. And now looking for a motion to adjourn. Counselor Rock, seconded by Counselor Richards, all in favor? And adjourned at 1:21 PM. Thank you.